Now the time has arrived that I walk this way of love, through the walls of your fears and weary heart. Take my hand and walk with me. I will teach you to be free, 'cause that's what I call you to be.
I have loved you and more, hoping you would hear my call, trusting me each day like never before. Oh, the pain that I feel when you forget what's true and real, that you're mine and I am yours.
I'll wear it all over again, crown of thorns and purple cloak. Carry the heavy cross once more like before. I give you my life, I'll give it once again, Father, that they may be one.
Take their hand and walk with them. Teach them first how to be free, 'cause that's what they're called to be.
There's love for all and so much more, hoping we all hear a call, trusting Him each day like never before. Oh, the pain we need to feel when we pretend they are not real, 'cause we are part of each one I'll wear it all over again, crown of thorns and purple cloak. Carry the heavy cross once more like before. I gave you my life,
I'll give it once again, Father, that they may be one.
I'll wear it all over again, crown of thorns and purple cloak. Carry the heavy cross once more like before. I give you my life,
I'll give it once again,
Father, that they may be one.
I gave you my life,
That I'll give it once again, Father, that they may be one. Father, that they may be one.
29 to 30. What my Father has given me is greater than everything, and no one can snatch them away from the Father's care. The Father and I are one. From the Verbum Dei Statutes number 24. The will of the Father was the nourishment, taste, and liking, the motive and unvarying aim and intention of the whole of Jesus' life, even to his agony and death on the cross. The will of the Father was the theme and program of his life and teaching for all people. Jesus proclaimed the fulfillment of the word, commandments, and will of God as superior to any other fulfillment, honor, or title, however great it may be. From Matthew 7:7 to 11. Ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened for you. For everyone who asks will receive, and anyone who seeks will find, and the door will be opened to those who knock. Would any of you who are fathers give your son a stone when he asks for bread? Or would you give him a snake when he asks for a fish? As bad as you are, you know how to give good things to your children. How much more then will your Father in heaven give good things to those who ask him? From Psalm 138. I thank you, Lord, with all my heart. In the presence of the angels, to you I sing. I bow low toward your holy temple. I praise your name for your mercy and faithfulness. For you have exalted over all your name and your promise. On the day I cried out, you answered. You strengthened my spirit. All the kings of the earth will praise you, Lord, when they hear the words of your mouth. They will sing of the ways of the Lord. How great is the glory of the Lord. The Lord is on high, but cares for the lowly, and knows the proud from afar. Though I walk in the midst of dangers, you guard my life when my enemies rage. The Lord is with me to the end. Lord, your mercy endures forever. Never forsake the work of your hands.
Sometimes we can't see how sometimes blind us to the truth.
Our Father knows what's best for us. His ways are not our own.
So when your pathway grows dim and you just can't see him, remember you're never alone. God is too wise to be mistaken. God is too good to be unkind. So when you don't understand, when you don't see his plan,
When you can't trace his hand, trust his heart.
trust his heart. He sees the master plan. He holds our future in his hand. So don't live as those who have no hope. All our hope is found in him.
We see the present clearly, but he sees the first and the last.
And like a tapestry, he's leaving you and me to someday be just like him. God is too wise to be mistaken. God is too good to be unkind. So when you don't understand, when you don't see his plan, when you can't trace his hand, trust his heart. He alone is faithful and true.
rest in God. May they be one. But how is it possible to be one in this moment when many people are little by little dying because of this worldwide crisis? People have died because they were infected. People also are dying of fear because they are afraid that they might get infected. Some people died also because of loneliness. Recently, we received news here and around the world that many old people didn't die because of the sickness, but the loneliness they felt because the family cannot visit them in their hospital beds. Many also are dying because of hunger. In this time of quarantine that offices are locked, are closed, how many people did not receive compensation due to the lockdown? And in this time, how is oneness possible? Because around us are many different realities that actually, inside of the hearts of many, causes division, causes brokenness, even causes physical wall because we cannot go near our loved ones. I knew some people who are basically on quarantine inside of the house but literally isolated from family members through the saying which says, so near yet so far. But in all of this, to be reminded of God's word, to be still and know that I am God in Isaiah 46:10. Because when we are calm, it brings us to a closeness beyond us, serenity that overpower our fears, and there is an experience of peace, an experience of oneness with God that brings wholeness in the chaos inside of us. This interior oneness brings a lot of good things around us as well. Some relationships have been restored because we have no choice but to stay in the house. Consumerism is controlled. And also, one evidence or proof that there is goodness in this time is the sharing of material goods, emotional, and most importantly, the sharing of spiritual goods. There are also many people who learn to go back to prayer, and I am very sure that so many other good things that happened in this time. We can claim that there is richness in the poverty that we are facing right now. 3 points that might help us in these guidelines. First is the reliance to the Father. The second is God's providence. And the third is thanksgiving to God. The first point is reliance to the Father. This Holy Week is an opportunity to go deeper in our following of Christ, free of any obstacle, as it is a rare chance to be intimate with Him without being busy on what to do in this Holy Week, but focused in the celebration of His life and love. His life that even in loneliness, sadness, grief, or poverty, He was never alone. He was always with the Father, our God the Father that loved Him and us dearly. He lived the fullness of His life because He knows exactly whom to depend. His security lies in His relationship with His Father. Jesus' dependence on the Father led Him to be one with the Father in all moments. In John 10:29-30, what my Father has given me is greater than everything, and no one can snatch them away from the Father's care. The Father and I are one. The Father and I are one. Jesus presented a relationship that goes beyond superficial intimacy, but a relationship of trust, of hope, and of love. A relationship even that goes beyond stability, but allows growth in the middle of the challenges. The Father was with Jesus all throughout His life. In the many accounts of the Gospel, we can see that His experience of joy, triumph, and victory. But the Father was also there even in Jesus' temptations, in his hardships, trials, and struggles. We can see that there is a unique bond between them, a bond that nobody can separate. They are one in mind, heart, and will. In our Verbum Dei Statutes, number 24, the will of the Father was the nourishment, taste, and liking, the motive and unvarying aim and intention of the whole of Jesus' life, even to his agony and death on the cross. The will of the Father was the theme and program of his life and teaching for all people. Jesus proclaimed the fulfillment of the word, commandments, and will of God as superior to any other fulfillment, honor, or title, however great it may be. I would like to highlight some words in this number of our statutes. The will of the Father was the nourishment, the motive, the unvarying aim, the intention, the theme, and program of his life and teaching for all people. Jesus' dependency to the Father's will is what moved him to persevere in his journey regardless of his daily crosses. And for you, what is the nourishment, the motive, the unvarying aim, the intention, the theme, and program of your life? For me, I didn't have this intention before. I didn't have this motive before. I didn't have this nourishment before until I found him. In Songs 3:4. And in this journey, all of us are invited to intensify our gaze on Jesus, to look at him closely, and to be attracted to his life once again, and to fall in love with him all over again. Let us look at his life with how the Father's will has been his inspiration and joy that gives meaning to his life. In Hebrews 12:2, let us keep our eyes fixed on Jesus, on whom our faith depends from beginning to end. He did not give up because of the cross. On the contrary, because of the joy that was waiting for him. He thought nothing of the disgrace of dying on the cross, and he is now seated at the right side of God's throne. Always in the mind of Jesus is the joy that awaits him, because in the Father's presence, he doesn't have to prove anything, but the desire to obey and please the Father in all moments, knowing that the Father loves him in all his weaknesses and in his strength. The Father's love is what excites him every single day. Are you excited with the Father's love for you every day? The Father's will motivated Jesus to do mission. It motivated him to love others and even his own enemies, motivated him to give up his life for us and allow the Father's will to transform his pain, sorrow, and anguish. When I was younger, I had this insecurity over many things because I thought that life is happier when you have the best qualities. And I see myself not really gifted at all. This insecurity was provoked many times, and even when I get married, when I experienced many times people comparing me to my husband. It's like a norm to live this life that you have to be exactly good in order to gain the favor of others. But one time, while sharing all these insecurities with a friend, he asked me, "What is your security in life? Don't you know that Jesus is the best security that you can have in spite of what this world is presenting to us?" No, I didn't know that before. Should I have known that Jesus is the best security, could have saved me many years of my life. But I realized now how important I am, how good I am, how beautiful I am, how capable I am, because the Lord gave me His life. Otherwise, I rejected His creation in all those years of self-pity and messy life. Let me throw the same question to you. Who is the security of your life? To whom does your faith depend? To whom do you trust your life best? Do you trust in the opinions of others? Do you trust in the hardships of this life? Where do your life depend in the uncertainty of what is happening now? When I decided also to be a mother, motherhood can be biological but at the same time cultural, because even if we give birth biologically, motherhood is a choice. When I decided to fully dedicate my time to my children, we knew that it would be very challenging because we are raising a family. I remember my prayer when we were newly married. Lord, I want to ask you in this marriage, please sustain us with your grace in all aspects of our life. True enough, from that prayer until today, the Lord sustained us. Not lavish, not also lacking, but fair enough. We also have our fair share of struggles and many times get discouraged, but not to lose that bond with the Lord, that oneness with Him. We are very sure that the Lord is the one guiding us in this married life, and we are also sure that He is the one guiding us to have this family life. Jesus is reminding and teaching us how to depend to our Father because of His great love for us, that He is willing to provide for us. He is not only a great provider, but a loving Father. Which leads me to my second point, which is God's providence. In Matthew 7:7-11, ask and you will receive, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks will receive, and anyone who seeks will find, and the door will be opened to those who knock. Would any of you who are fathers give your son a stone when he asks for bread? Or would you give him a snake when he asks for a fish? As bad as you are, you know how to give good things to your children. How much more then will your Father in heaven give good things to those who ask Him? Have you ever tried asking to the Father? Have you tried begging? What did you ask? The Lord is giving us the opportunity to ask. Ask our Father, what do you need? Do you need something? Do you need His presence? In these days of quarantine, we content ourselves with the online masses and rosaries, believing in faith that God is truly present and receive Him in our heart in full. I also content myself in the live streaming of the adoration of the Blessed Sacrament in front of our TV. And I told the Lord in front of me, I really want to be near you, Lord, to be very near you in this moment, and I desire to be with you. And the passage of John 4 of the Samaritan woman helped me being in conversation with Jesus at the well. I was in that moment really thirsting for God, like the woman thirsting for the presence of his master, longing for the presence of his Lord. In the verse 7, ask and you will receive, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened to you. Do not be afraid to ask, to seek and knock at the door of the Father's heart. He listened to us. He wants us to be one with Him and not to be afraid of Him, but to have that full confidence in asking Him what is inside of us. I know it's not really that easy, but it takes a lot of sincerity and authentic faith to be able to ask the Lord the desires of our heart, to learn how to seek for His presence and believing that His door is open, the door to many options, the door to many opportunities, the door of hope, the door of love, the door of community, the door to pray, the door to preach, the door to share, door to forgiveness perhaps, or even the door to listen for a call. When we ask, to ask fully, sometimes setting aside our own comforts and plans. It is to realign our plans to His plans and our priorities that He become our first priority. Jeremiah 29:11. I alone know the plans I have for you, plans to bring you prosperity and not disaster, plans to bring about the future you hope for. Our Father is not stingy. Remember in the story of the prodigal son in Luke 15:12, He gave all his belonging divided in equal parts to his son. He is a generous Father. He gives to His children what we all need. Sometimes we are the one that is stingy. We are limited in our own understanding that our Father cannot give us more. Let us try to open up our life and see the beauty within and outside. After all, our Father is really wonderful. He would not give us something that can harm or destroy us. And many people nowadays are saying, why did the Lord allow this pandemic? And inside of me really question these people, why are they blaming Him? This isn't the Lord's will. What is happening now is not His doing. This is not in His plan. But He directs this darkness for us to see the light. He used it as an opportunity for us to seek Him, to trust in Him, to seek for His healing, to depend on Him, to pray more than we prayed before, because this is something that only prayer can drive this kind out. In Mark 9:29. The good news is that Jesus is alive. God is here. God the Father is providing for each one of us, and He continues to be faithful even if sometimes we are not. He continues to love even if sometimes we don't. He continues to give life even if the world is perishing. God did not abandon us. Look closely. He is one with us in this moment. Look closely because He is present. Look closely because He is there waiting. And look closely because He wants us to depend and to trust in Him. And when He is providing us, I think it is for us to give thanks. And I will end these guidelines with this passage of Psalm 138. To give thanks to the Lord for His constant love and faithfulness. He keeps us safe. He gives strength to all of us for this journey and always providing us what we need. To be assured that He gives as He promised. Give thanks because He is there. Give thanks because He listened to our cry. Give thanks because He will bring newness to us. Give thanks, always give thanks. When we are grateful, we are able to give ourselves. With so many gifts we receive from God, it is for us to share that gift with others. I personally enjoyed so much this time of quarantine, knowing that we have more time with our family, more time to do the things we have not done, more time for prayer. Are we grateful to share your prayer with the people that are very close to you and sharing it with others who need it the most? Do it. Go for it. Be an instrument of God's love today. To rely in God is to share His goodness with others. Give thanks to God for all the good things that He has done for each one of us. Let us place in the hands of our Mother, Mary, our prayer today, because she can teach us how to depend on the Father's care in the measure that He accompanied Jesus throughout His birth, His life, and in His passion, death, and resurrection. Our passages for this morning guidelines of the Monday of Holy Week. Main passages are John 10:29 to 30, Matthew 7:7 to 11, Psalm 139, and our supplemental readings is Isaiah 46:10, Hebrews 12:2, Jeremiah 29:11, and Mark 9:29. Thank you everyone, and enjoy praying with the Word of God.